Hi, and welcome to another video of mine where I'm going to talk to you about something really exciting. I'm excited. I haven't been this happy in since the first time I found out about her. But it is about my sister and a possibility that this might be her. And it puts me with hope that she actually still thinks of me, and at the very least she at least thinks of me and she wants to be connected in my life, which is really cool because I wanted to be in her life too, and that's why I went to try to find her and everything. And if it's true, oh my gosh, I'm it's always been a big time, I guess you could say, dream, fantasy, hope. But it never was something that I thought, back then especially, I didn't have any of the signs, or I didn't know much about my life, so I didn't know to go based on that. And when I started digging, and I mean digging, I researched a lot. And I researched even before social media became a thing. I was doing those little VS engines, back in the days, Stone Ages. Those little search engines that they used to have before Google and before all this Chrome stuff and, everything. Before internet boomed, okay? We're back in Stone Age times when there was apes, walking. Well, there still is. I'm kidding. But I was that type. But I would go and post I'd find those little posts searching for my relative and this and that. I didn't even know where any of my family was at the time, and I couldn't open my adoption records until I was, like I said, 18. So I couldn't find anybody, and I couldn't get any answers. Not even from my the family that I did know about. So finding anybody, and the person was like, yeah, you sound a lot like your sister. And that was to my sister, my other sister, Lisa Marie Robertson. I guess we sound a lot alike on the phone. So the one woman thought we might be twins or something, or that we were very similar. And I was like, oh, cool. And we don't look a lot alike. I mean, that much alike, but we do look alike. I'm not saying we don't, because we both do have, both have freckles, and we both have that exotic type look about ourselves. So yeah, and we just have, I think, different sides of the spectrum. I think she might look more like my Aunt Margaret, and I took more after Ruby, is what I think happened. But I still don't know who my dad is, so I don't know how to go based on who I look like most. I might never know who my real dad is. That might never be a thing. But yeah, I should call Maury Povich. But he would have to go to weirdos to get my DNA samples, yeah, and their DNA samples. But one we do know might be my, molester. Yeah. So Maury, that would be one person, and freaking Maury could go get his sample and make him give it to me. Yeah. Because he said it in a nonchalant way. I could give you my sample, but you're not my daughter. And I was like, okay. Then, but yeah, he acted like he'd still wanted to keep my little baby picture. Why would you want to keep that if you're not my dad? That's something that generally is restricted to people that are in the family. That would make it more personalized. But he is also the man that married my mom. So he'd be my stepdad. So maybe he thinks, well, I'm still your stepdad. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So more news, I found out a lot about her, and a lot more than Facebook even told me about her. Like, it didn't have anything. There's still no pictures. I think she's really nervous about showing who she is. Um, which I don't blame her, if she's really trying to hide from certain people. And she did move again, so it's probably why I would never be able to get her with the last address. So yeah, I like she gets to move around a lot, so I'm kind of jealous about that. She gets to go to other countries, and she's been to exotic places, India and Asia. Um, she has like so many different tastes in food, Mexican, Asian, Indian, like she like pizza, Italian. She likes like every culture out there, which is so much like me. Like, I love different things. So we have so much of the same similarities. It's uncanny. And the way she writes, oh my goodness. You guys think that I write like extensive? No, no. Like, this coming from me too, like, because usually, yeah, I can outright most people, sadly, yeah. But I don't write like long novels. I'm not Stephen King or anything, but I'm saying, like, I do write a lot for the people in my life. Like, usually people in my life probably like, man, she writing that huge novel again on Facebook. Yeah, I like to write people, and yeah, I know a lot of them are not paragraphs, so you probably are annoyed by that. But she is very detailed oriented. She's very knowledgeable. She like would put so many people to shame with how much knowledge she knows. Like, she has literally 100 and I think 70 or 100 and some 100 I have to check, but she has like a bunch of reviews on Yelp, and she has like 1,279 followers or subscribers on her Yelp account, and I'm like, damn. I was like, geez, I thought I was writing a lot, but she followed me, she friended me on Yelp, and she put like to some of my stuff, and the reason I'm feeling that she knows me more personal than just, being somebody that just, is big about the military and, knows is a veteran and everything, and has traveled and likes giving and being into ministries and stuff, which she is. But she also is the certain certain reviews that she put like to, that she put they Yelp lets you give like different compliments. Like, if you thought something was funny, you could put funny, or you can put that is cool or useful. And she put useful and cool to my review on my Bethany Christian Services review and my hospital one. So I was like, okay. So she put it to a couple others too, but those were two that really like meant something to me because of what I put on there in my review. And I was like, wow. And in her username, it has a hint to me that's personal for me, that I took to mean that's who she is. And, I'm not going to say, because I don't want everybody going and seeing what I'm talking about, but yeah, I really think that's her. And it's a little more of a, not as conspicuous of an area. Like, it's more private and not as noticeable, kind of low key. And, that's what I'm trying to do with her too. I'm letting her make the moves and say this stuff because I don't want to keep jumping the gun. And I'm tired of being the one to like freak somebody out. Like, I'm trying not to, but I get so emotional, people. Like, if you don't know me, I'm emotional. If you know me, I'm emotional. Like, if you don't know me, you probably in 2 seconds you'd realize how emotional I can be. But yeah, I get emotional with things happen to me, and it's so important, and I just like to share about my life because it's so fascinating, and that just validated to me all of that. And I think that's why my mom had to, when I was in high school, my mom went to apply for me to get an ID so that I could at least go and work, because you have to have an ID, a state ID issued to you. And it took her like so much paperwork and so much documentation to prove to the government and everybody that I was who I said I was. Like, they thought I was literally impersonating someone else. And I don't, it was like really weird, because they're the ones that let me be that. They're the ones that had me do my adoption, had me do all of that. And then when it came to it, I wanted to say that I needed an ID now. They didn't. They acted like, well, that person's already there or whatever. I don't know what was going on. Like, the only thing I can think is that at the same time, like, she was trying to get her state ID or something. And we both, like, made the, maybe she did it a little bit sooner than I did. And so she was, like, giving it, and they were like, oh, you're not going to get it. Like, they thought I was scamming, that I was trying to be her. But yet, I was me, and because it probably looked the same too. And then they would have had to realize, wait a minute, yeah, this was those people we were trying to keep separated. It's like, I don't know if that's what the government did or not, but this just like shows you the like oddity ways. And I think that's another thing, is that they messed up our names on the birth certificate stuff and the adoption certificate itself, because I think they made her Mona and me Monica in the main paperwork. And that might have been also what was going on, because like, I changed my name to Lisa legally, and she must have either changed it to Lisa or something happened. I don't know if she still is Lisa, but she does. I think she might still have an L in her name at least. But I'm not 100% sure who. Like, I do think that she is, though. So maybe that's why she took that name. But in the yearbook, it does show some other Lisa Hunt. So that's not her. That's an actual person. But that's why I said I also saw the Monica part there. That Monica went to Allegan High School, and I didn't see her in the yearbook. So I was like, okay, Monica is the same name that they used on my police report. And it's the same year that I went and graduated. You used Mona. No, in my yearbook. Oh. On her yearbook, over in Allegan. I looked it up online. Right. I told you that. Is they have this Allegan alumni. I was able to make my own account. Yeah, I made an account from Allegan, so they probably think I'm an alumni now. But I just did it because I wanted to see who was in the school, and I wanted to see the yearbooks. I didn't want to have to keep driving over to Allegan, because they're having that lockdown right now still. Like, the schools are closed until it actually starts, and I don't know when that will be. So it was nice that I could get on the computer, and literally it shows you what you'd see if you went and looked in their actual yearbook. So it's kind of neat. It's like an online tour, And so yeah, I looked it up, and I looked under the different years, and I was like, I went before or after I graduated, and I looked a couple years before I would have graduated, just to make sure I got covered all my bases. It took me a while to go through all of those different people's yearbooks, but I did find the Lisa Hunt on 2001 when I would have graduated. And then I saw the Monica on, she wasn't actually in their yearbook though, but on a different area, it said, and the actual alumni, it said that there was a Monica. I don't remember her last name. It had some odd last name, but I don't, she graduated in 2002 when I graduated. And ironically, both of them were in the Army. Yeah. So I was like, okay, there's got to be a connection. Not everybody in even Allegan County area would go to be in the military. So it was just like, okay, there's something going on, because she didn't have a picture. I couldn't see a picture of her, and she didn't have an actual spot in the yearbook. They didn't even put that she just wasn't listed or pictured. Like, she wasn't in any of that. So that person had to go and make an account too. So that's why I said I thought it was somebody, maybe it was like somebody doing it so that she could go in and look at, see who she could pass herself off as. That's what I'm thinking happened. So when I was talking to the person, I wasn't talking to her.
It's kind of similar to what
I was talking. Yeah, I was talking to. There isn't Lisa Hunt, but I wasn't talking to that Lisa Hunt. I was talking to somebody else that was claiming to be Lisa Hunt. Is what I'm thinking I was doing, because if that person on Facebook actually was Lisa Hunt and that person, they could have easily sent me a selfie or some simple thing to show me they weren't them. They wouldn't have gotten all scared and nervous. And that's why I started believing that that was more to it than that. And it got me drawn in and going in so many different ways. I went and wrote, I went down and, like I told you, I think I even showed a thing of me going and asking at St. Mary's, which is now Mercy Health St. Mary's, the hospital I was born at, we were born at. I wanted to get documentation, and I showed that whole scenario, and it was really odd and awkward, but I realized I'd posted a review 2 months prior to that when I went there, saying what the truth was about that place. And so the person there had this weirdest look, and I was like, why is she looking at me like that? And I think the reason is because they had seen the review. And I'm thinking that's why they haven't sent me anything. They haven't contacted me at all. So it makes me wonder, like, if they're just not going to even contact me because they're realize that I caught on anyways. Their little jig is up, and they don't want anything to do with it because they know what I'm wanting the records for. So I think they're just going to play this little, oh, we didn't see your paperwork thing, and I bet you anything they will. Because I sent that to them before we even got our car back, and that was like, I think at least a couple days prior to that even. Must have been like the last like week or so of July. And we're in August now, people. Like, this is August 6th. Tomorrow's going to be the first full week of August. So that's like been almost 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. They're in freaking the same, like, a city over. They're like 10 minutes away.
Figure they're not seeing makes them seem like they're okay.
I think that more or less makes them feel more validated and them more fucked up. Like, the fact you don't tell me anything does not validate to me that you are doing anything right. It just tells me that you're just trying to hide something. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to either go down there or talk to them on the phone tomorrow or sometime and see if they will even respond to the fact that that happened. And we'll see what happens, but yeah, I don't plan on it getting anywhere. In fact, they'll probably be like, well, you're not even this person. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'm trying to get it for my sister. They'll be like, aren't you the one that thinks that we did something to you and your sister, that we split you guys up? We don't do stuff like that. I'd be like, yeah, you say that. You keep saying that. Then why was there 2 different dates of conception or of pregnancy, birth? Why did my birth mom have 2 different pregnancy times? You tell me a story for that. If it was just me, then they wouldn't have even mentioned another date. Somebody must have been tired or something, or not thinking straight, like they did with the Monica thing on the police report. They did the same thing with my birth records. Because people, if you're lying, you can't do that, like, for every little, like, even if you're very detail-oriented, obviously, eventually, it's going to overlap. So if you catch on to the little lies, then there's probably big ones that just been covered up better.
Lies build up.
And that's what I went on. I went on that one thing alone to realize that something was going on. Like, you're not born on April 17 at 10:56 p.m. and then reborn on April 18. What is this, a rebirth? Am I a rebirthing process or something? The fuck? Like, they said April 18 at a certain amount of time in the morning. So, yeah. That's what it is, people. Like, there's literally two of us. And, you know, the fact I was a small little baby, I was born premature. They kept me for a whole month in the hospital. And yet they acted like there was no medical problems. So you tell me, why would they keep a baby for a month, even when that's premature? But if I was having no problems whatsoever, I was breathing on my own, there was no, like, real bad issues, because that's what they wrote on the paperwork, that I was fine. Why would they have kept me so long? Like, not even infants that have, like, really serious problems that get resolved in a timely manner are going to stay there forever. Like, they're eventually going to want to get the child home. That's the main thing. Once the child is safe, and once the child is, you know, doesn't have any problems anymore, and they've monitored for a certain amount of time afterwards, then they release the child. Why was I any different? That's what I want to know. Like, why keep me for so long when all my other siblings were let go right away? And some of them had a little bit more issues than I did, but I was kept more. Like, my sister Lisa Marie, she was had a mental growth retardation. She was very small, which I was too. That's another thing. You know, I was a few ounces smaller than her at birth, and so they didn't even call me that. Like, they did call me a failure to thrive baby, but I was always failure to thrive. I was special needs when I got older. So I was very small, always smaller for my age, for my weight and height than everybody else in my freaking growing up years. Always. It wasn't like a time I wasn't. Except when I got overweight. Then I was overweight, but I was still small. I was still short. But yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I have that feeling. She's very much like me. She's very good at details, analyticalness, and she still has creativity. And she loves doing reviews and writing, just like I do. And that might be where it comes from, is our shared connection in an unconscious way. Like, we subconsciously spiritually are sending the vibes out to each other without even realizing it, you know? And it's really kind of neat. Like, I really, really, really want to meet her so bad. Like, so bad. And, you know, if she is my twin, then if she's this person, then she's a twin. So there's no, like, ifs, ands, or buts. If she's the person I'm thinking she is, which was born on April 18 at that certain time, then she would be a twin. That because Ruby had both of us in her. And I think the reason she was having those needs to get us out is because I think both of us must have been kicking at the right times and wanting to come out earlier. Because a whole month before I was even gonna be born, like, I was already born premature by like a week or so. But I was actually trying to get out a whole month prior to that. Ruby had to go, my birth mom, she had to go get this stuff that they used to use back in the days, and they would put some stuff in you, and it would make you so that you wouldn't have a premature birth. It basically prolonged your birthing cycle for people that they were gonna come way too soon. And we were gonna come at a whole month before that. I would have been like, how much weight? Like, a whole month and a week early. Like, I'd have probably been 2-3 pounds. I would maybe have not even made it. So yeah, they had to induce to make her not actually, to make her not induce her birth, her pregnancy. So yeah, she had to use that, and I have some of that in my records too. So it just shows you that that's the only time that they did that with her, was mainly with me and my twin sister, because we were twins and we were both trying to get out, apparently, or at least I was the first one. So yeah, that's the exciting thing that's like really started happening for me. I'm really like, I'm hopeful that it is a thing. I still take it little by little. I've still been being contacted by different people that I don't know why, but I think it links to her. I don't know 100%. I don't have the proof, but I do know that somehow they're connected. They're all in the military. So, and I have somebody also on my Quora. So like I have somebody on my Quora, somebody on my Yelp, somebody on my a lot of people on my Facebook messaging me and stuff. So yeah, I'm like, who am I like to get all these weirdos? Like that's why I'm saying like I'm not really up there yet. Like to get so many people interested in my stuff. Like I know I put a lot of things out there, but I don't think that necessarily has to do with what I put out there. I think it has to do with who I am. And so, if anything happens, people, you heard it from me first. Right here. Right now. This is freaking real. So, yeah. I'm going to let you go now because I'm like, I don't want to be too much, but I am really excited. And I hope she knows that I still really want to meet her. And I think we are so much alike and that we'll get along so well. And I have so much things I want to ask her. And it's just really exciting, like, to know all that, and to get to know somebody you never knew before. It's really exciting. And, I'm getting to know my brother, possible brother. I don't know 100%, but I think he is. And he's really cool. And we talked on the phone before. And Isaac likes him too. And he thinks he's kind of awesome and neat and cool. And he and Isaac have a lot in common too. So it was kind of neat. They talked a lot together. And he was happy. And I was happy too. And I really want to meet him too. And because that's still part of my life, and I don't have anything against him. Like, he didn't do anything bad to me. His dad did. And because his dad did that, it kind of connected me and his son. So, in a very real way, because we both had the same situations happen. So, he knows things and understands me in a way not many people do. And it's nice to talk to somebody that, understands you that close in that way and doesn't look down on you, doesn't feel ashamed to admit about you. Like my cousin, for instance, I don't know what his deal is with everything, but I think he really has an issue with me getting back in touch with my biological family because I don't know why. Maybe because he was abused too and he would never go get in touch with his dad. But I'm different than him. Like, I'm not like that. I like to go into my past because to me, my past is how I'm going to move toward my future. And you can't move on if you haven't resolved things. You can't just push it away for years and years and not think it's not going to affect you. If that was the truth, then I wouldn't have dissociative identity disorder. If that was true, I would remember things and then I'd just say to myself, I don't want to remember it, and I would just let it not affect me and I'd move on. But even people like that can never do that because when you know something and you know it in your heart, you'll never be able to deny it. Not ever. And that's just how it is with me. And people don't understand that. If you don't know what happened to you, it can be worse than if you know. Like, I know it's a lot of horrifying shit, and I'm going to be prepared for that. I know I'm probably not prepared 100% enough because I'm sure it's way worse than what I think it is. But, it's obviously really bad because it dissociated me. It split me apart, made my mind shamble and go into pieces, as a little child. But I have to remember I'm not that child anymore. I'm a woman now. And I'm strong. And I have to just stand on my own 2 feet. But doesn't mean totally forgetting who you are. Doesn't mean leaving the past in the past. It means going forward, remembering things, but being able to let that just be. And I guess I want to know what happened, but I want to be able to just accept it and move on. That's when I'll know I'm healed. Like, until I'm able to do that and tell you guys things that I know 100% happened because I remember it, till I say that, I haven't healed. Not 100%. And I haven't been able to even deal with things that's happened. So, yeah, it's going to be a long, long journey, people. And I hope that you can accept that about me, that I do want to do that. And that even if you don't understand it, that you can have some kind of compassion, because that's what I really need. I don't need people judging me about how I live my life, because you haven't had my life. And I don't need people sitting there saying all these horrible things about what I do, because I don't care. I really don't care what everybody thinks anymore. I mean, it at one point it really affected me and it hurt me, but I realized it's not going to matter whether I do those things or not. Some people just don't care for me as me. And that's the people that are going to say that. The other ones that do care are always going to be there, no matter if I fuck up or not. So, to the ones that don't care, I don't need that. So I guess we're even now, And if you don't want to care for me, you don't want me to ever have my memories, it's fine. Because eventually I'll get them back in my own head anyways. And I'm going to work toward that goal. I'm going to better myself. And I'm finding myself. I'm understanding my life better every day. And piecing together everything. And that's what I want to do. And that's what Johnny would have done. And I remember him too. He was my brother. And I'll never forget. So, yeah, that was my whole thing. That's all I really wanted to share. But I hope that you're all doing really well. And, ending this on a positive note. At least I'm coming to terms with who I am and who I may very well be. And, the fact that there might have been things that I was covered up from me. And in life, we have to all realize that things like that can happen. It's not like in the movies, where it's only certain people get that way. Sometimes it's the average low-income person, poor person on the bottom that doesn't have much to lose or to gain, and the system just likes to fuck you up even more. So yeah, that might have happened, people. That would explain why I was in the system for 4.5 years, or with my birth mom that they knew didn't know how to take care of me for 4.5 years. And that's why I was kept there when everybody else in my family was removed right away. That explains it. They had to actually literally come to a molester's house to get me. Whereas other places, they just saw some of the remnants of the effects and they took the children away. My birth sister and brother that was before me, they got taken away just because a beer bottle almost hit my baby brother, my older brother, before I was born. And then I was kept there time and time again, going in the hospital for this and that, being hit by a grown-ass man, bit by a kid, bit by a dog, beat with belts. And that's all the stuff that they're just willing to share with me. There might have been other records that I just don't know about. But that's the records I do have. So yeah, I was in the hospital so many times, for scabies and other odd shit too, which meant that we had unsanitary conditions, and my teeth were a mess, and my gut was like hanging out because I was so malnourished that it was filled with water and bloated, and my hair was all falling out partially. So yeah, I was really a mess. I didn't get taken care of at all, and they let me stay there for years under those situations, being taken in the hospital, the ER all the time. So there was so many chances they could have taken me away, and they just let me go back. So you know what? Sometimes the most obvious reason is the real reason, people. It's not always just in your head. Don't let them tell you that. Just think for yourself, get the facts, and learn things. And that's all I ever wanted to do. And find out the truth for yourself. I'm America's truth seeker. That's what I wrote on my Yelp. America's truth seeker. Because I want to know the truth. I want to help people get set free. Well, America's truth seeker, signing off.